That's work. Hey, Paul said in Philippians 3:13, he says, forgetting the past and looking towards the future. Don't allow your past situations to stop you from reaching your goals, reaching your dreams, reaching the things that God has for you in your future. Paul even said it like this in the beginning of the verse. He says, not saying I got it all together. That's why I like Paul. Paul was the dude that would call himself out. He'll tell you, I'm going to tell you, I don't have it all together. Let me be real with y'all. I'm going to tell y'all, I don't have it all together. But the one thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to focus on my past failures. I'm not going to focus on my past letdowns. I'm not going to focus on what didn't go right. I'm not going to focus on what didn't happen for me. I'm going to focus on what's in my future, because God has a future for you. God has great things for you. But do you really believe that? I'm going to ask you that question. Do you really believe that God has a future, that God has great things for you? If you really believe that, just go ahead and put that in the chat. My future looks great. Go ahead and just fill the chat up with that. My future looks great. Because I believe this. Everybody that's watching this live, God has a future for you. God has some great things for you. And then he goes on to say this, I press, no pun intended. I know I'm in the gym. This is where we press. We get this, that's where we press this weight. But he says, I press towards the mark. In other words, you got to press towards your future. You got to push through those bad situations. You got to push through those things that are trying to stop you, those obstacles, those things that are trying to get in your way. You got to press towards your future. You got to put that work in. You got to make sure that you are going in the direction that God has chose you to go. The Bible even says this, a man looking back is not even fit for the kingdom of heaven. So don't worry about what's behind you. Don't worry about no haters and people talking about you. Don't worry about that. That's behind you. Your future is what's in front of you. Focus on what's in front of you and keep pushing and believing that God's future for you is great. God has great things in store for you. All you got to do is just press. You got to push through it. I know it's been tough. I know it's been hard, but you got to press. I know everything ain't been favorable, but you got to press. I know you had to suffer some losses, but you got to press. I know there's some people who walked away from you, but you got to press. I know there's some doors that's been slammed in your face, but you got to press. I came to just encourage you today. Don't let the enemy trick you to make you feel like you don't have no future. God wants to remind you today that you have a future and your future looks bright.